Well, we're just near Wickenby Airfield, and in a little lay-by full of rubbish, but I spotted this building recently. Don't know what it was for. I haven't done any research as such. It's just a derelict building, but it must be something to do with the last war. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, I thought I'd just show you it for a little bit of interest. Now, unless I can do one tomorrow, there's not going to be any videos for a few days. You know, I've got health appointments and that, so that's why I'm doing them now. So today, what I've done is I've come out for a ride out. Well, I went to see a friend do hunting, so I've taken you for a ride out along some lanes, which I'll edit into this. And I thought, I've shown you a little tiny building that I've never known it was here, that I think it must be from the last war. I don't know what the purpose was, and it's next to Wickenby Airfield. So I've just shown you that and told you a bit about that. Anyway, I thought I'd just tell you another interesting adventure I had was from my boating days, which was a trip to Thurmaston to see me boating friend for their the Dawn-Craft barbecue, you know, and I went on my boat. And on the way there, I took 3 days to get there and only 2 to get home. So it was quite an epic adventure. And it was my longest time away for many years, actually. Longest time away from home for many years. You know, I've been up to Nottingham a time or two and had a couple of days on my boat, you know, and a couple of days, a night away at Boston many times. But you know, for many years, that's the longest I was away. So what I did, right, I better tell you the route first, hadn't I? Right, you go, I was at Bardney Lock, definitely. And from Bardney, you go to Lincoln, and then you go up the Fosdyke Canal, which you may or may not remember is the oldest canal in the country, because it was built by dug by the Romans in AD 120. You know, when all the rest of them were in the 1700s when they started. You know, so and some people say, well, it's more a navigation than a canal. No, it's man-made waterway. The Witham was dug out by them, which is not a canal, of course, a river, to make it navigable. But the Fosdyke was actually dug out because of they didn't like the sea. They didn't like the open sea, apparently. So I've been told. And so to get up to York, they dug that canal so they didn't have to go out to sea to join the Trent. So at Torksey, it joins the tidal Trent, where you go out of Torksey and you turn left, because right takes you out to sea. So you turn left and you go up to what the Cromwell Lock, where it then becomes non-tidal through Newark. The Trent, this is the River Trent, and it becomes non-tidal at Cromwell Lock, and it goes through Newark, and then you carry on up to Nottingham, where you turn off the Trent and you go on the Beeston Cut. You pass through Nottingham that way, and then you come to, I think it's Trent Junction it's called. I should have refreshed my memory on that, not to worry. Anyway, you come to Trent Junction and you turn left up the Soar, River Soar, and you carry on up the River Soar, and till you get to Thurmaston, which is near Leicester, and there's a marina there, and that's where I stayed. So the first day I got through Cromwell Lock and I stayed this side. There's a pub, because you know on my boating days then I stayed at, you can moor outside a pub and you can have a meal, you see, and sleep there. So that's what I did. And that was this side of Newark. And then I carried on, and there's another nice pub just before, not the last lock on the Trent, but the second one. And I forget what they're called, you know. But, you know, it's a very, very nice pub, this is. So anyway, we did that, and then I carried on through Nottingham and up the Soar to Thurmaston's Marina, and we stayed the night. And then, waking early, I decided to set off for home. That's on the 4th day, and I had a good trip back, and I actually got through Nottingham back. You know, it was quite a decent trip, it is. Got back through Nottingham and back to the pub again where I stayed the night. Well, it's still quite near Nottingham, so I had a very nice meal in the pub. I was treated very well, because I can remember this. They had 2-for-1 meals, and I said, I'm on my own, you know, could I possibly have 2 meals? And yes, they certainly can, and they looked after me. The manager actually came and sat and had a chat with me at the table because I was on my own, and they did me a lovely meal of chicken and chips and wrapped it in tin foil for me to put on my boat, so I had something to eat the next day. I mean, I was looked after like a major celebrity. That was nice. Anyway, the next morning, once again, I woke early, so I thought, oh, I'll set off, and I got back to Newark fairly quickly this time. Everything went very well, and I got back to Newark, and I radioed the lockkeeper. By the way, you have a ship's radio, and you radio ahead for the locks, which are manned on the Trent. And then, you know, that's it goes. They're huge locks, but it goes very easily. It really does. In fact, at one of the locks coming downstream, because you're coming downstream, I sat on my boat, and there's some sliders in the side of the lock, some pipes let into a gap in the side of the lock, and you just put a rope through it, so your boat goes up and down, because they you know, they do drop a long way. So I radioed ahead to this lock. He opened the gates for me. I went in. I was on my own. I sat on my seat and just stopped the engine. No, I didn't even stop the engine. Slung this rope from my seat round this slider, and the lockkeeper opened the sluices, did it nicely, got me through, opened the top gates, and off we went. And I didn't even get out the seat or stop the engine. It was ever so pleasant doing that. So anyway, we get back to the other pub, and I radioed Cromwell Lock, and it happened to be someone I know was there, and I said, what time are we, is the tide ready? Because being a tidal lock, you have to be there at a certain time. And he said, well, where are you? I said, well, I'm just at the pub up there. He said, well, come down, you can go now. So I shot down there as fast as I could, and it was ready to go. The timing, you know, it just fate, but the timing was perfect. And he waited for me, and because he'd waited a bit, we set off with someone else going downstream, and because we were slightly late leaving and the tide was going out, we had some float. So we you know, for me, it was the fastest I ever did to Torksey Lock. So I got into Torksey Lock, and I found that the blooming cutlass bearing had come on off my boat. Blooming thing, it had vibrated off. We'd done that much mileage, you see. It's unwood enough, you know, my wooden boat that you've seen. So, and also I carried my outboard that I've just sold Steve, my little new outboard, to get me back, but I hadn't filled my blooming petrol can, had I? It was just one of those things. So I chugged off thinking that I would get to Saxelby, down the Fosdyke, you see, and get to Saxelby and get some petrol there. Well, the blooming garage was shut, wasn't it? Because I passed one, but it was off a bank of nettles, you know, so we couldn't do that. Anyway, I had enough petrol to get me to Lincoln on my little outboard. So I filled up the tank on the little outboard and I used that to get me from Saxelby to Lincoln on the Fosdyke, and it ran out just as I got into Lincoln. So I chugged a tick over just through Lincoln and I'm moored just near the main road that I've actually shown you, and I walked over the bridge down to the bottom Tesco's. I've shown you that recently as well, and I got a can of petrol. I had oil with me, you see, obviously, because it's 2-stroke, and I walked back, put the outboard on, obviously filled it up, and used it to get me back to Bardney, which I got there about 10 at night, I think. So that was a good day's boating. It was my best day's boating, and it was also a very memorable feat because I came almost from Nottingham to Bardney Lock in a day. Now, I do know someone else has done that on his own, doing the locks on his own on a narrowboat, and he told me, but most people take 3 days to do it, you see. 3 or 4 days from Nottingham. So that was me classic boating adventure. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tales and that, and we'll hopefully speak to you again in a few days' time.